Hello, my friends. Today is October the 11th, and this is a birthday reading for you. If this is the birth date of you, or some kind of business, or some kind of event that has shaped you, and you want to reflect upon it. Um, so, this is a four-card reading, a general energy card for the year, a challenge you might face this year, an action you can take to stay in balance, and an outcome or a synopsis card. So, the reflective card, the general energy card of the year, is the Father. And what is the Father? But I think the major archetypal family uh, sense of the father is, the one who is strong and wise and protective, and who supports us and holds us and helps us to grow and helps us to find the aspects of ourselves that will help us to live and thrive in community and society, in welfare of the personal uh, being as well as the spiritual being. There's the other side of the father is that they're often absent or emotionally unavailable. Uh, uh, Kind of typical of our culture more than the sense of what the father is. But I think this is probably a worldwide phenomena that the father, can suddenly just not be there, not be supportive, not be able to help, not be a figure that is in one's life, and thereby there's a sense of abandonment. But there's also the sense of abandonment from a father energy that does not know how to be open and supportive and listen with great understanding and compassion and love, and instead it might be someone who's very domineering, controlling, stuck in their own mind, stuck in their own mindset, stuck in their own sense of beliefs about how they need to be, who they need to be, and why even they need to be. And thereby is the dilemma within father figures. Now, is this about you this year being a father figure, or is this about some other father figure in front of you? And maybe that father figure is actually, a woman or a mother or a boss, or, someone who is just uh, trying to be that energy, but is either failing or hitting the mark of being, someone who is wise and protective and supportive and nurturing while one grows, and able to be the universal father, the great father, the sense of highest power and authority in a beneficent way. So all those are the reflections for this year in the sense of the father. So what is your personal challenge this year, October 11th, peoples, um, is the Four of Cups. And so, generally, in a positive way, the Four of Cups is about building some kind of family or emotional relationship with yourself and with others, where Four Cups creates a good solid foundation of support and growth and happiness and joy, and an ability to share, and an ability to feel heard and loved, and the emotions are calm and waters are calm, and healing can transpire. But the challenge, therefore, is feeling like you don't have a home that's safe, feeling like you can't share who you necessarily are, or if you do share who you necessarily are, it's not welcomed, and it's not received well, and it's a place possibly of tumult and turbulation, or it's a place of apathy and negation. Both of those senses of the father come in here. Is the father energy of the situation you're in supportive? Probably not. Is the father energy of the situation you're in abusive? Possibly. Is the father energy even there? Who knows? Maybe no one's able to understand, and no one can make a great sense of what to do in the situations that they are in. So there's a father figure of wisdom that feels like they're lacking. And maybe that's you, and wanting to step up into some, you know, bigger sense of role in the family or the dynamic that's created, or maybe it's someone else who is really um, pushing pushing the limits around fatherliness. And so, what is the action that you can take? Well, Hawk is really about messengers and flying high, and listening to expanding one's viewpoint, expanding one's understandings, looking with greater eyesight at everything, not being narrow minded, but really looking out from a wide vantage point, fly high like the hawk, be able to really look down and see from minuscule movements to very wide vistas, the great expanse of light and understanding. But it's also receiving that kind of higher understanding from others. So this is about the hawk, in a lot of practices says, if you don't hear the hawk scream above you, then you have nothing to worry about. In other words, be at peace until you hear a hawk, if they're your messenger, a hawk give a scream to let you know that you're in danger, to let you know there's some action to take, to let you know that there's some words you need to speak. Otherwise, you can give yourself a lot more peace in the situation by trusting that you'll be alerted to the time and place when you need to have action. The other side of that is be open to other people or other beings having information for you that might help you to understand the situation you're in and come to a greater flow within yourself in the situation. And I think this is about, higher wisdom and sacred wisdom that needs to come to you in order for you to feel like you can either step into that role of the beneficent father, or you can bring about change in the group scenario that is really about helping others to see that there is a different way to look at what is created. There's a different way to work with each other in what is created. There's a different way to respect and honor each other in what is created. And you can provide protection, and you can provide support, and you can provide wisdom, and you can provide a mechanism for civilization to happen, for civilization to have good rules in this business or this family or in this life, good rules that allow everyone to have a fair shake, to have an even deal, to understand how to be at their widest and their best, and to allow for some, divinity of self and authenticity of self to come in and not be ruled by one person or one idea or one philosophy. So that is the action that you can take, and this is the outcome. I think this is a beautiful soul card without explanation. This, to me, always says a sense of peace in nature, peace in the flow. Winds around you may blow, but if you're rooted in the earth, if you're rooted in yourself, if you're strong in yourself, and you're confident in your being, and your understanding of the nature of things and the cycles of things and the connections of life, you'll watch things, you'll understand things ebb and flow. You'll understand life dies and is reborn. You'll understand that the trees, uh, lose their leaves generally in the winter, and fall into a hibernation or a meditation, and that is a good retreat and a time for renewal. And then in the spring they pop again, and in the summer they blossom and give their biggest fruit and their giant harvest for the fall, for us to be ready for winter again. So this is a cycle. In other words, this is about cycles, and this is about you'll keep being revisited by this particular issue of fathering, and it will keep visiting you in one form or another, because it's a large issue, and it's really about how you can step up into your world and be strong and confident and wise and protective and loving and healing for not only yourself but for other people around you. This is about you learning your own lessons about how to be a a father figure that is balanced. But it's again, it's also accepting that fathers fail and fathers are champions. Fathers are heroes and fathers are dullards. And that is an issue that every one of us has to work out within ourselves. And we are constantly working on it. And we're never going to please everybody. And we're never going to be the perfect, quote, father. But we can always try harder, try deeper, love more, and honor each other better, more and more as we go along each day. Ahom Mitakuye Oyasin.